18,000 home routers, hijacked quietly over the last 2 years by the same Russian military unit, and the FBI says most of them are still sitting in kitchens and living rooms right now, owners totally unaware. Today I'm going to show you how to make your own router essentially unhackable with 7 fixes that cost nothing, take under a minute each, and permanently close the exact doors they walked through. One of those fixes is a single toggle. The FBI and NSA told everyone to flip after they reset thousands of infected devices in April. Once you see what it does, you'll wonder why it's been on this whole time. And I've had my entire network locked down this way for 2 years. After what happened to a friend last month, I'm never going back. My buddy lives 20 minutes away. Normal house, normal internet. Pays his bill on time. He called me 3 weeks ago. Because his bank login started redirecting to a page that looked exactly right, but the URL was off by 1 letter. He hadn't clicked anything weird. No phishing email, no weird download, no neighbor guessing his Wi-Fi password. What happened is his router itself got hijacked without anyone ever joining his Wi-Fi at all. A bot, scanning the internet, found his public IP, tried admin and got in because he'd never changed the factory login, slipped in through remote management that his provider left open, and silently rewrote his DNS settings to point to a server overseas. From that second, on every site he typed, his bank, his email, even Google, could be quietly rerouted through a perfect fake copy that skimmed whatever he typed, and he had no clue for almost a month. That is not a freak story. In April, the FBI and NSA published an advisory that a GRU unit called Fancy Bear, also called Forest Blizzard and APT28, had been doing exactly this to small office and home routers across 23 US states since at least 2024. Microsoft counted more than 5,000 consumer devices caught in it. CISA had warned manufacturers in January 2024 to fix this by design. And the devices they actually named weren't fancy enterprise boxes. They were old TP links like the WR841N from 2007, the Archer C7, the WR740N, 23 models in the UK advisory alone, the kind people buy once, shove in a closet, and never touch again. ESET and Kaspersky both flagged the same pattern. Routers run for years untouched, which is why attackers love them. They sit between every device you own and the internet, so one win gives them everything. You don't need to buy anything to fix this, and you definitely don't need some $9.99 a month security subscription that can't even see a router-level hijack. I'm giving you 7 specific changes in the exact order I'd do them tonight, if this were my house. Halfway through, I'll show you a 30-second check that tells you if you're already DNS hijacked or if someone left a backdoor port forward in your settings. I'll also take apart 3 myths that make people feel safe while leaving the front door wide open. And the extra habit the NSA says actually wipes these memory-only implants out, even the nation-state ones. And once we get through the first one, you'll understand why his strong Wi-Fi password didn't help him at all. First, kill the factory credentials, because that sticker on the bottom of your router is not a password, it's a public invitation. Every model ships with something like admin or admin and password printed right there, and there are searchable databases of every default combo ever made. A bot doesn't sit in a car cracking your Wi-Fi. It just hammers admin/admin against millions of public IPs per hour for free. And when you leave it, you've handed them a key to the whole house from anywhere on the planet. Open your browser, type 192.168.1.1 or 192.168.0.1. It's on that same sticker. Log in, and immediately change the admin username. If it lets you and the admin password to something long and random, you store in your password manager, not your head. This is not the Wi-Fi password, it's the router admin password, 2 different things. And while you're there, change your network name to something boring that doesn't scream your model. So not TP-link_841N or Bell_home_hub_500 or Rogers-5 G-8472, just call it house-5 or something generic. Broadcasting your exact model tells an attacker which exploit to try first. My friend's router still said admin/admin after 6 years, which alone was enough to let them in from another continent without ever being near his house. That one change would have stopped his entire incident cold. Second, fix your firmware or throw the router out. And I mean that literally. Manufacturers release firmware updates to patch holes they find, and if you never install them, you're running with the hole open on purpose. The FBI went a step further in 2025 and said if your router no longer receives updates, retire it, don't keep using it, because those end-of-life devices were exactly what got swept into the KV botnet, built from dead small office routers, and the Raptor trained botnet of more than 200,000 routers and cameras that got disrupted in September 2024. Go to the manufacturer's support page, type your exact model, Compare the latest firmware date to what's shown in your admin panel under System or Administration or Firmware Update. And if the last update was more than 2 or 3 years ago, or the page says End of Life, End of Service, End of Support, that router is done. No setting will save it. Keeping it is like triple locking your Windows while the foundation is cracked. If it does still get updates, turn on automatic firmware updates. Most decent routers now hide it under Administration or System. And if it doesn't have that toggle, put a reminder in your calendar for every 3 months to check manually. It takes 60 seconds. A solid mesh system that actually gets automatic updates is about $175. Once and lasts 5 years. The median identity theft loss the FTC tracks when banking credentials leak is over $1,300 plus weeks on the phone, and professional cleanup after a DNS skim bills $200 to $400 per incident. So this free check saves you more than 7 times the cost of a replacement before you even buy one. My friend's TP link hadn't been updated since 2020. 4 years of known holes sitting open. Third, turn WPS off completely, not just the button, the whole thing. Because this is the myth that feels safest and is the weakest. WPS was supposed to be convenient. Press a button or type an 8-digit PIN and connect without typing a long password. Cute idea. Except the PIN is not 8 real digits. The last digit is a checksum. So there are only about 11,000 real guesses. And a $20 tool can brute force it in 2 to 6 hours while sitting outside in a parked car. And here's the catch that burns people. Pressing the button doesn't disable the PIN. The PIN stays listening in the background even if you never use it, forever silently answering. In your settings, look for WPS or Wi-Fi protected setup, sometimes under wireless advanced, and switch it to off or disabled on both bands if you have 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. There is no downside unless you actually use that button daily, which almost nobody does. You type the password once per device and you're done forever. I had mine on for a year, thinking the button was harmless, same trap. Turning it off closes a door that was designed to be easy to open. If you're still with me here, that tells me you actually care if your network is leaking right now, so tap subscribe. It's free, and it helps this channel keep making these breakdowns. And if you want the extended live tests where I tear this stuff down step by step, the membership gives you those members only videos. And back to it. The next one is the toggle that let that Russian DNS hijack spread to thousands of houses without cracking a single Wi-Fi password, and it's probably on in your house right now. Fourth, disable 2 features you almost certainly don't need, and one acronym most people have never heard of. UPnP, Universal Plug and Play, lets devices inside your network automatically open ports to the outside without asking you. Sounds helpful for a game console until you realize any compromised light bulb or phone app can also punch a hole straight through your firewall and keep it open, and your router will never tell you. Security folks have been saying to turn it off for years because reducing the surface attackers can touch beats convenience every time. Find it under Advanced or NAT or Forwarding and switch it to Disabled. Next is remote management, sometimes called remote access or web access, from WAN or remote administration. This lets you log into your router from the internet, not just from your couch, which is exactly how that bot reached my friend from overseas without ever joining his Wi-Fi. It logged in over his public IP on port 8080 or 443 and rewrote his settings. Unless you actually managed your parents' router from another city every week, you don't need it, so go to Administration or System or Remote Management and switch it to Disabled or Allow Local Access Only. While you're there, if you see TR-069 or CWMP or a remote config from provider, leave it enabled only if your ISP requires it for updates, otherwise disable it. And also turn off Respond to Ping on WAN. That just makes your router loudly announce, "I'm here, scan me" to every bot on the internet. Quieter is safer. You might be thinking my router is new, so I'm fine, but that's exactly the misunderstanding that makes newer mesh owners ignore this. My friend's router wasn't ancient because it was cheap. It was ancient because nobody told him a router ages like milk, not like a fridge. Fifth, lock your actual Wi-Fi encryption the right way, because this is where the second and third myths get expensive. A lot of people think a 10-character clever password and hiding the network name makes them invisible. Hiding your SSID does not hide you at all. Your phones and laptops shout that hidden name everywhere they go, constantly probing, "Are you there, hidden network?" So you're actually broadcasting it more. And any laptop with free software sees it in 2 seconds. It's theater that makes you harder to find for your own family and easier to track for everyone else. Same with MAC address filtering, which sounds strict until you remember a MAC address is broadcast in plain text with every single packet. You can sniff it and spoof it in 30 seconds. It stops 0 attackers and creates busy work where you have to manually approve every new bulb while thinking you're secure. What actually works is WPA3, if your router offers it, otherwise WPA2 AES explicitly, not WPA/WPA to mixed mode, and definitely not TKIP. TKIP has been broken for years, and mixed mode keeps it alive for compatibility. Make your Wi-Fi passphrase at least 20 characters, random words with a number tucked in, like correct lantern bicycle 24 river. Easy to type once, brutally hard to crack, even if someone captures your 4-way handshake outside your window. And if you see a toggle for protected management frames, PMF, set it to capable or required, that stops the deauth attack where they kick you off for a half second to capture that handshake in the first place. My friend's Wi-Fi password was actually decent, 12 characters, mixed case, didn't matter, they never needed it, which tells you why the admin login and this encryption choice matter more than cleverness. Look, I know this sounds like a lot, but 3 of these take 10 seconds each and you never touch them again? That's the trade. 6th, lock your DNS and split your network so one cheap gadget can't sync the whole house. DNS is the phone book that turns google.com into an IP address, and when my friend's router got hijacked, the attacker just rewrote that phone book. He typed his bank's real name, the router lied, and sent him to a perfect clone at an IP overseas that harvested his login. The URL bar looked almost right because the lie happened before his browser even left the house. Antivirus on his laptop never saw it, because antivirus watches the laptop, not the router lying underneath it, which is why $100 a year for a suite that can't see a router. Level hijack is money you don't need to spend. Go to Internet, or WAN, or DHCP settings. Find DNS. Change it from automatic to manual. Set primary to 1.1.1.1 and secondary to 1.0.0.1 or 8.8.8.8 and 8.8.4.4. Those are Cloudflare and Google. Both support DNS over HTTPS, which encrypts the lookup so your ISP and any eavesdropper can't silently rewrite it, save. And if your router offers DNS over HTTPS or DNS over TLS, turn that on too. Then, in that same admin panel, create a separate guest network, and if you have it, a separate IoT network. And put the cheap smart plugs, cameras, bulbs, even the kid's tablet on that isolated guest, not your main network where your laptops and phones live. Isolation, sometimes called VLAN, or wireless isolation or AP isolation, means if that $15 bulb from the big box store gets hijacked, it can talk to the internet, but not sideways to your computer to steal files. This costs nothing, takes 2 minutes, and it fire breaks the exact lateral movement those botnets rely on to turn one. Weak bulb into a whole house foothold. The last one is the dumbest and the most powerful, and almost nobody does it, even though it's the one the NSA actually wrote down. 7th, reboot your router every week and audit what it let in. This sounds too simple to matter, which is why it's so effective. Most of these implants, including the ones Fancy Bear and Volt Typhoon dropped into those 23 states, live only in memory. They don't survive a reboot, they have to reinfect. And if you've already closed the doors with the first 6 fixes, they can't get back in after you kick them out. The NSA guidance after that. April Takedown literally said reboot your router, your smartphone, and your computer. At least once a week, regular reboots help remove implants and ensure security. Just pull the power for 60 seconds and plug it back in. 60 seconds, that's it. While it comes back up, make it a 2-minute habit to open the admin panel and check 2 things. First, connected devices. Look for names or MAC addresses you don't recognize. A generic Android dash, one F4B, or a vendor you don't own is a red flag. GSET's own checklist says unknown devices is one of the strongest signs you've been had. Second, port forwarding or virtual server or NAT rules. There should be 0 entries. Unless you personally created them for game server, any rule you didn't create is a spare key someone added to let themselves back in, delete it. If your router has an outbound firewall log or access control or system log, glance at what tried to phone home at 3 a.m. when everyone was asleep, steady blinking when every device is off, or a warm router at idle is the clue both Kaspersky and ESET flag as infection chatter. You're not looking for perfection, you're looking for the thing that never sleeps. Here's the 30-second test I promised to tell if you're already compromised before you change anything else. Log in, find the status page, confirm your admin password still works. If it suddenly doesn't, and nobody in the house changed it, you've been locked out. Compare the DNS numbers on that page to what you just set, or to 1.1.1.1 and 8.8.8.8. If they're random numbers pointing somewhere you didn't choose, that's hijack. And scroll to port forwarding. If you see any IP you don't recognize, that's someone's backdoor. Screenshot it, then do a proper factory reset with the pinhole button for 10 seconds. Update firmware before you reconnect to the internet, and then change every password that matters in this order. Router admin, Wi-Fi, ISP portal, email, bank. Do it wired if you can, not over Wi-Fi, while you're still hijacked. Let's actually do the money because free fixes sound cheap until you price the alternative. A decent replacement that actually gets automatic updates is about $175 once and lasts 5 years. That's $35 a year. A year of a big brand security suite that still can't see a router level DNS hijack is about $100 a year, $500 over that same period. Professional cleanup after a DNS skim or a ransomware scare bills $200 to $400 per incident. And the median identity theft loss when banking credentials leak is over $1,000 plus weeks of calls. And my friend lost 2 days on the phone and had to replace his cards. So those 7 toggles that cost $0 and maybe 10 minutes total save you roughly $600 in subscriptions you don't need, plus the one-time 1,000 plus hit you never take. If you do need to replace an end-of-life box, that $175 still saves you the 1,000 plus. It's not close. Go do this tonight, in order. Admin login, firmware, WPS off, UPnP, and remote management off, WPA3 or WPA2, AEIS with a 20-character phrase and PMF on, DNS locked and guest network split, then weekly reboot and device audit. I've run this exact stack for 2 years since I watched my friend unwind his. It's boring, it's quiet, it just works. And that's the point. Thanks for watching. If this locked your network down a notch, share it with someone still running admin/admin and hit, and I'll see you in the next one.